You either love blue cheese or you think the people who do need professional help. There's really no middle ground with this stuff. It's the most polarizing thing in the dairy aisle, and honestly, that's part of its charm. But here's the thing, the blue cheese section at your grocery store has gotten complicated. You've got $2 tubs of Crumbles sitting right next to $40 artisan wedges wrapped in grape leaves. And while you've been grabbing the same container you always grab, some brands have been quietly cutting corners, stuffing their products with fillers and passing off bland paste as the real deal. Not all blue cheese is created equal. Some of it is a funky masterpiece of controlled mold and careful aging. And some of it is basically salty cream cheese cosplaying as something interesting. So today we're ranking 8 blue cheese brands from worst to best, so you know exactly what deserves space in your fridge and what belongs in the garbage disposal. Because life's too short to eat blue cheese that doesn't actually taste like blue cheese. Smash that subscribe button because we're about to save you from some seriously disappointing cheese. Number 8, Stella blue cheese. Coming in dead last at number 8, we have Stella blue cheese. And get this, Stella is one of the cheapest blue cheeses you'll find on any shelf, and the price tells a whole story. Made by Soete, one of the biggest dairy conglomerates in North America, Stella is pasteurized, aged for just 2 months, and tastes about as exciting as that timeline suggests. The texture is dry and powdery, not the pleasant crumble you want from blue cheese, but that chalky, falls apart in your fingers kind of dry that makes you wonder if the block's been sitting in the back of the warehouse. The flavor is almost non-existent. There's a faint saltiness, maybe a whisper of tang if you really concentrate, but the signature funk that makes blue cheese worth eating is completely absent. You could blindfold someone and hand them a piece of Stella, and they'd probably guess mild cheddar before they guess blue cheese. The real kicker is the cellulose coating on the Crumbles. It's there to prevent caking, which is standard practice, but with Stella you actually taste it. It adds this dusty, papery quality that makes every bite feel like you're eating cheese-flavored packing material. Stella exists for one reason. It's cheap. It targets consumers who want the words blue cheese on their grocery receipt without actually paying for the experience. If blue cheese had a participation trophy, Stella would be accepting it with both hands. Number 7, Treasure Cave Crumbles. At number 7, we've got Treasure Cave Crumbles. Now, Treasure Cave has a genuinely interesting backstory. It's America's first commercially produced blue cheese brand, dating back to 1935 when cheesemakers started aging wheels in actual limestone caves in Faribault, Minnesota. Today, the brand is owned by Soete and produced in a modern Wisconsin facility, which tells you something about where the priorities have shifted. The cheese itself isn't bad. It's firm, crumbly, and has a clean tang that does register as blue cheese. You won't be offended by it, but you also won't be impressed. It's the kind of blue cheese that disappears into a salad without adding much personality. The 60-day minimum aging produces a flavor that's competent but one-dimensional. There's no depth, no secondary notes, no moment where you stop and think about what you're tasting. Treasure Cave also uses powdered cellulose to prevent caking, and like Stella, it gives the Crumbles a slightly dusty quality that dulls the experience. What makes this particularly frustrating is that the brand's history promises something more. A cheese born in actual caves should taste like it has a story. Instead, it tastes like a cheese that was born in a cave and moved to a corporate facility in Wisconsin. Treasure Cave is the reliable sedan of blue cheese. It gets the job done, but nobody's writing poetry about it. Number 6, Danish Blue. Number 6 is Danish Blue, and you'll most commonly find this under the Castello or Rosenborg label. Danish Blue was created in the early 1900s as Denmark's answer to Roquefort, which is a bit like saying a Toyota is Japan's answer to a Ferrari. It's not wrong, it's just a completely different product built for completely different expectations. Danish Blue is creamier than most American blue cheeses. It's semi-soft, mild, and leans savory and earthy rather than sharp or tangy. That approachability is its selling point and its biggest weakness, because when you strip away the funk and the bite, you're left with a cheese that cheese experts have described as a starter blue. Pleasant but not particularly interesting. Where Danish Blue stumbles is consistency. Some batches are nicely balanced with a gentle creaminess. Others come across as aggressively salty with barely any blue character at all. And the veining is often sparse, which means you're getting large sections of plain cheese paste between the mold lines. Bottom line, Danish Blue is the friend who's always pleasant but never memorable. If you're introducing someone to blue cheese for the first time, it's fine. If you already know what you want from blue cheese, keep walking. Number 5, Belgioso Crumbly Gorgonzola. At number 5, Belgioso Crumbly Gorgonzola. This is where the ranking starts to get interesting. Belgioso is a Wisconsin-based producer that has become one of the best-selling Gorgonzola brands in American grocery stores. And there's a reason for that. When this cheese is good, it's genuinely good. Creamy, tangy, with that signature Gorgonzola sourness that hits the back of your palate and lingers. The texture, when you get a good batch, is beautifully crumbly. It spreads on crackers with just the right amount of resistance, and it melts into sauces and dressings without disappearing entirely. But here's where it gets tricky. Consistency is Belgioso's Achilles heel. Some batches arrive perfectly crumbly and packed with flavor. Others are mushy, compacted, and taste like they've been sitting around too long. Taste testers have noted the deep Gorgonzola flavor balanced by creaminess in the good batches, but the bad ones just taste like sour cream with ambition. If this is already saving you from a bad meal, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's next. Number 4, Maytag Blue. Number 4 is Maytag Blue, and yes, it's connected to the same family that made the washing machines. Maytag Dairy Farms has been handcrafting this cheese in central Iowa since 1941, making it one of the oldest artisan blue cheeses in America. It's made from raw cow's milk, aged for 6 months, and it shows. The texture is dense, crumbly, and moist all at once. It has a strong, pungent aroma that fills the room the moment you unwrap it. The flavor is tangy with a lemony finish and a spicy bite that builds as you chew. It literally melts on your tongue. And because it uses raw milk, you get a complexity that pasteurized cheeses struggle to match. There's a reason cheese experts have noted that raw milk cheeses develop more intense and broader flavors than their pasteurized counterparts. The most interesting part about Maytag is the tension between its legacy and its present. Some longtime fans have started saying the quality has slipped. Whether that's true or just nostalgia talking is hard to pin down. But at around $15 a pound, Maytag still represents solid value for a raw milk artisan blue. Maytag Blue is the neighborhood restaurant that's been open 40 years. Still good. Maybe not what it was at its peak, but you respect what it's built. Number 3, Soete Roquefort. At number 3, Soete Roquefort, and now we're in elite territory. Roquefort is the granddaddy of blue cheese, made from raw sheep's milk from La Cogneuse and aged in the limestone caves of Roquefort-sur-Souzon in southern France. This cheese carries an AOP designation, which means it can only legally be called Roquefort if it's produced in those specific caves using those specific methods. Soete is the largest producer, accounting for roughly 60% of all Roquefort made, and they're a subsidiary of Lactalis, one of the biggest dairy companies on the planet. The cheese itself is crumbly, moist, and intensely pungent. The flavor is salty and tangy with sweet undertones, and a finish that borders on smoky. It's aggressive. It's not trying to be your friend. The sheep's milk gives it an earthiness and gaminess that cow's milk blues can't replicate. Taste testers have called it a cheese for true blue cheese lovers, and that's not a marketing line. It's a warning. At around $8 to $12 for a 7-ounce wedge, Roquefort isn't cheap, but it delivers every penny's worth. And if you're finding this ranking useful, hit the like button. It really helps the channel cut through the noise. Roquefort doesn't care if you like it, it knows exactly what it is. And that confidence shows in every bite. Number 2, Point Reyes Original Blue. Number 2 is Point Reyes Original Blue, and this is where American artisan cheese making starts to seriously compete with the European old guard. Point Reyes Farmstead Cheese Company sits on the California coast, and they make their blue cheese from raw cow's milk sourced from their own herd. The cheese ages for over 90 days and develops a natural rind that tells you this is a product someone cared about at every stage. The flavor profile is creamy and buttery with hints of mushroom, caramel, and salt. It's not as aggressive as Roquefort. Instead of punching you in the face, it invites you in. The texture is smooth and semi-soft with delicate veining throughout. There's a balance here. That's hard to find in blue cheese. It has enough funk to satisfy purists, but enough creaminess to win over skeptics. Point Reyes has been racking up awards for years, including recognition at the American Cheese Society competition. At around $11 for a 6-ounce wedge, it's a splurge. But one reviewer described it as the kind of cheese you can put on a cheese board, and nobody will know you didn't visit a specialty shop. That's the ultimate compliment for a grocery store find. Point Reyes is proof that California can make world-class cheese, not just world-class wine. Number 1, Rogue Creamery, Rogue River Blue. And at number 1, the best blue cheese brand you can buy, Rogue Creamery, Rogue River Blue. This cheese won the world champion title at the 2019/20 World Cheese Awards, beating out thousands of entries from around the globe. It's made in Oregon's Rogue Valley by a creamery that's been operating since 1933, and everything about this cheese is deliberate. Rogue River Blue is seasonal and limited edition. They only make it in the fall when the cow's milk is at its richest. Each wheel is aged 9 to 11 months in caves, then hand-wrapped in organic Syrah grape leaves that have been soaked in pear spirits distilled on site. The result is a cheese that's fudgy and rich with flavors of pear brandy, vanilla, toffee, truffle, and fig. Calcium lactate crystals develop during aging, adding a pleasant crunch, and the flavor actually changes as you eat from the center of the wheel to the rind, moving from fruity and slightly boozy to savory and earthy. It's not cheap. A 5-pound wheel runs about $200, and wedges sell for around $30 to $40 when they're even available. The annual release happens on the autumnal equinox, and it sells out fast. Rogue Creamery treats this cheese like a limited sneaker drop. And honestly, the product backs up the hype. Rogue River Blue isn't just cheese, it's an argument that American cheesemaking has arrived at the absolute highest level. Conclusion, 8 brands, 8 wildly different ideas about what blue cheese should be. From Stella's participation trophy blandness, all the way up to Rogue River Blue's seasonal grape leaf wrapped masterpiece. The gap between the worst and the best isn't a gap, it's a canyon. Here's the final piece of advice. Don't buy blue cheese out of brand loyalty or habit. Actually taste what you're buying. If it doesn't have funk, tang, and a texture that makes you stop chewing for a second, it's not doing its job. And the price difference between mediocre and great is often just a few dollars. Sometimes the best move is spending an extra $3 and getting something that actually deserves to be called blue cheese. Hit subscribe if this changed how you'll shop for blue cheese, and drop a comment telling us which ranking you think we got wrong.